Hello, hello. I have made a new layout thing for my OBS. I feel like it's a bit loud, so let me just turn down the music a tiny bit. Actually, let me just change scenes. I'm not gonna have a face cam today though, but ta-da! This is what it looks like. Why is it only in 720p? That's because I forgot to set my settings properly before I went live. Yeah, she was getting me from 1080. I didn't even check until now. Okay, yeah, no, it disappears. Cool. That's what I wanted. So yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. Ah, god damn it. Are you kidding me? That thing doesn't run? Okay, how in the hell? What's it fucking called? Hold on, I remember where it is. I made a fucking music player and everything, and then it just doesn't fucking work unless I fucking open it. Ugh, that's annoying. Oh well, you know, I guess it'd be like that. It's not really that big of a deal. There, and there, and there. Does it work now? Not quite. I think that's just because, if we just restart it. If we go to the previous one. Ah, there we go. Ha 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 ha! Can't beat me, bitch! My god. Can I make this, run automatically? I just want to keep it here, you know? So, yes, I did a lot. So this is more a test run than anything really. So yes, I made my own little music player thingy because it was so hard and I was struggling so much with it. You have no idea. But it's there. I feel like it's kind of strange to look at my background without me in front of it, but you know what? It'd be like that. I was just like, I don't know what to put there for when I do stream. You know what? Just have a picture of my background. Why don't I just do that? Just, easy, whatever. Who cares? I know I don't. So, can I, add this to... Now I have it there. Okay, cool. So I had to make my own. So now I literally have this music widget that actually works. I just need to start it every time I'm gonna use it, which now I know. And then I have my iTunes, which I literally just recording, or just not recording, but I'm using my iTunes mini player as a source. So yeah, I also have some an alert box, which obviously is not going off right now. And I don't know what that's gonna be like when I actually go in game or whatever. But you know what? I'll deal with that once I get to it. This is just a trial run. This is not really finished yet. It's very much a work in progress. But I was just so excited and I sat up all night. I kid you not, all night trying to fucking work out some way to just display the music I'm playing on stream. Because sure, I've already been doing that with just the iTunes Mini Player or whatever. But the thing is that that wasn't good enough for me. You know, like the titles are in Japanese, and I didn't want to change them because then I would have to like change everything else. And I was just like, no, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. So I just copied the songs over to some other place on my computer, and then I put those files back in into my iTunes and just like renamed everything. So yeah, now you can actually read what the titles are, more or less, you know. Anyways, I think without further ado, God, is it 3 or 2? I can never fucking remember. Nope, it's 3. There we go. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so let's do that, and then I have to go and turn on the audio. There we go. Nice. Let's just get into it. But I'm saying let's get into it, but I think I'm just gonna have to like restart this part over, like completely. Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. That's the one, right? Yeah. Just because I was out of it last time, so you know. Let's go.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited breathlessly in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us.
Doggo!
A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. Look well, Wilson, Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles.
Sweet. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and in Sozikisan's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. Which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san.
Yes. Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today?
I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I?
Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning.
So, shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food.
She does, doesn't she?
And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today?
Here we go again. examine. I don't remember if there was anything like actually worth examining. That's just him like talking about how messy his desk is, right? And then we have the tea. Ah, this must be the telegram. Let's see.
No, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances.
Alright, I won't.
I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san, but you can be very mischievous at times.
Put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. I mean, he has a point. Why would you just leave it out in the open like this if you don't want anyone to look at it? So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean.
Oh, a telegram. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ma'am! Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that.
Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram.
That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing.
I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point.
Alright, I understand. I suppose Sosuke-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he?
Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away.
A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him. Do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well.
Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san?
I was just wondering, what might have become of Sosuke-san had he stayed in London and so on?
You mean, as regards Lord von Zeeks, the Reaper?
Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London.
Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery.
Yes, but at least Sosuke-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably, that means...
that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps.
Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding.
If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself.
Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants.
No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord von Zeeks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter.
Oh?
Yes, since Sosuke-san's trial. He's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems.
Really? In justice we trust, you're here! What's up? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. I just restarted this because I was out of it last time, so... So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Oh, just my luck.
I wonder if luck doesn't come into it.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
Okay, cool. Let's just go down to Shamsa's suite, I guess. Just speed running up to the point where I was.
Morning, Bruno. Morning, Sissy.
Sorry I'm late. I was shaving my head finally and my idiot brain was like, yeah, it would only take like 20 minutes. I have plenty of time. Yeah, I know the feeling. That was me tonight when I made this new stream layout or whatever the hell. Which, by the way, I am using today, just to like test it out and see if like everything is like running as it should, and that it looks good on stream. Hell yeah, Sholmes.
Good morning, Iris.
Iris?
What is it, Runa?
What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled.
Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you?
Oh, hi, Eric. What's up? The image looks better, like the quality seems higher. Cool. You're playing the Greatest Attorney. I love this one. Yeah, I want to finish this fucking game. Also, can we just talk about the mad skills of Herlock? Oh my god, I didn't even realize I had my channel screen. You know what? I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna keep it there. Been a little busy at the Spy House Street. Okay, I see. I was like wondering if when you're working on the stream again, because I've been like looking out for you in my notifications, and I'm just like, I haven't missed anything, have I? Yeah. But yes. Herlock, look at him. Just this masterful playing. Not the tone, but the fact that he can get sound from the fucking instrument without even moving the bow or changing his finger grip. I don't even think he has any grip. I can't see a single finger hitting, what's it called? The band? I don't know violin terminology.
Hurley isn't the best from this morning, it seems.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. He is holding the violin in his hands, and that's literally it. Yeah. They said, we're not gonna animate this. Use your imagination. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? Not a single finger on the string. Yeah, exactly. You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence. That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me. If it's not too much trouble. That's a mood right there, yeah. For real. And here we have the MVP of the entire game. Oh look, it's Magahai.
Good morning, boy.
They could animate the cat meowing, but they couldn't animate him just like moving even just the bow like back and forth. Okay. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use, but how did it get there?
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris.
It would indeed be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. Wanting to die. Tell me. Let me be your therapist for today. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its smelly-sounding tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I have bowed. For days even. Or bowed? Maybe it's bowed. I have bowed. Because you... Aha. For days even. Through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone. Gone, forever. No more recitals of unbridled emotion.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley?
Don't worry, I'm sure it will come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next, they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction, perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? It's his comfort violin.
Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but... your desk looks rather empty today.
Ah, well done, Miss Susato. Susato, I forget. Your observational skills do you credit.
Oh, no, Mr. Sholmes. They pale into insignificance when compared to yours.
He gets like most of the stuff he says wrong. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? That's a Windybank's now.
Sorry, it's at a windy bank?
No, Windybank's, the pawnbrokery.
Pawn? What? You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? Has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh, that's... hold up. Oh, what's to understand exactly? What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
Banks?
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then, on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London.
And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn. Should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windybank's, you see.
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain?
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
Does it matter? The world is dead to me now. We love being positive. Let's see, I want to talk to Iris. Mr. Nutsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then.
Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy.
It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews as empty as the hearts of the muses. Ah!
If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships, in our experience.
And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable.
The ear twitch help. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I also just realized something. Wagahai is a calico cat. A male calico cat. That's rare. Or maybe they just use he because they don't actually know. And they're just like, nah, seems like a he to me. Huh. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Runo. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the cat flap mat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Wouldn't it have been quicker to just make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. But now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris.
She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Oh, what was that?
Wagahai? I still love this line where they describe the life expectancy of calico males. Male calicos aren't quite so lucky yet. What was that?
Oh no! Wagahai's tangled up in your violin. I think he thinks it's a toy.
No! What's he doing to it?
Oh dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violin.
Why should I care? What?
I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I know. Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Yes, let's. So this is the violin, is it?
It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier, Antonio Stradivari.
Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me.
I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings.
How honorable of you.
And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. Blech. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music, to tolerate this blanched existence? No!
There is none. Mr. Sholmes. What, dear madam? What? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
What do you mean, Mr. Soto? Like, do I have it like in my court record? I do not. Okay.
Oh, Susie's right. Yes. The tone of the wood is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it?
What's this?
I thought your thing was deductions. My guy.
I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all.
Then, what?
I believe it's an entirely different instrument called the viola.
What?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you all right?
You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam?
Not your faithful performing partner, then.
Ah, I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
It sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Oh no, actually I do have to do that. Whatever. What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris?
Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Windybank's until last week. At the pawnbroker's.
Now Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner. There is a proverb from the East, with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Yes, indeed.
So you send your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea!
Last week, I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber.
No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings, right? That's how you say that word. How do... Ooh. T, that's the street. There we go. Hold on. I gotta check this. I thought I sent it. Whatever. Can't pronunciation. How to pronounce that? Yeah. Timbre. Timbre. I guess. Something like that. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings.
A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Dilly-dallying will get you nowhere.
Sorry?
Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, fussing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced?
You must visit Mr. Windybank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes?
Precisely, Mr. Sato. Without a moment's delay.
But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs.
My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg ever more obtusely.
Alright, say no more. Let's go then.
Don't worry, Bruno. I'll be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I'm rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. We speed running this time. Let's go to Baker Street first, actually. I just want to see if there's like anything here I can actually look at. All the different things in the windows of the window of the shop.
Ah, that's Windybank's, the pawnbrokery.
It looks much smarter than the pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally.
It reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable.
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo.
Is that it? You can literally just go out here just for that? Oh no, wait, there is more. Never mind, I'm dumb. Ooh. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Sholmes' office.
I still can't quite believe it.
I never expected things would turn out like this.
Oh, I know! To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. Well, case in point, you can go out here to like look at 2 things. So this is a British pawnbrokery.
Oh my! There are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never even laid eyes on before.
Ah, Susato-san. And that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes! I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me.
My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes!
We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. And clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. This is where I ended last time, and I feel way more awake now. Hold on, no, I want to examine. No, actually, I wasn't allowed to examine. Wasn't that it? Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes. This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size.
A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. And there is only one way to make amends. I shall have to take my own life. I don't think that will be necessary. Do you? I can't with this guy. This is the second time I just thought he was just gonna run away. Just like, what was the thing he said? There is only one way to make amends, just runs away. Like, If I may just say one thing before I pop off.
Yes?
It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe.
Sorry?
As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, here it is.
You did.
And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May the guilt die with me. Put that gun down, sir.
No, stop, my dear fellow, the fault is mine. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy.
Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Sherlock Sholmes without that questionable disposition now, would you?
I do believe you may be right, sir. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose.
You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past.
Oh, peculiar items.
In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Sherlock Sholmes or some such.
Oh my, a new full-fledged novel, and unpublished. A story I have yet to read, you mean?
Forgive me!
Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. I must know more. Tell me everything. Wow, Susato-san is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof?
You braided your hair? Oh, that's so fun. Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see.
I should like to entrust this to you. To your care for a while, Mr. Windybank.
It's so small. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more.
It houses something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Sholmes.
I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript?
Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here.
And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom.
Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings, securely.
Of course, sir. Of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you. On my life.
This is all very strange.
Yeah, I'll say.
I wonder, could I ask you something?
A gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull.
Sorry?
Aha! But for your splendid attire, ma'am. 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. How would suicide solve anything for this pawnbroker? I don't know.
Oh my! 5 guineas, you say? How interesting.
Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here?
Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokeries are used rather like banks here in London.
Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure storage. If, in that time, they repay the original sum to me, plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? And the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. Why does stowage seem like it would speak for storage? It does. Stowage? No, it's stowage, not storage. Never mind, they're actually kind of similar. Speaking of similar, hold on. I had this whole fucking thing in a Discord server I'm in like earlier today, where there was like this American person that could not hear the difference between the TH sounds. You know, you have the th and you have the th. You have the th as in think, and then you have the th as in they, or whatever, something like that. And it was just so funny because she was like, just sounds the same to me, and I'm just like, but they're not. And we just like sent like a bunch of like screen recordings after another. It was a lot of fun. Anyways, I found it really fascinating that even though when she actually like sent her own like video of her like saying those words, she said them the exact same way that you're supposed to. But she didn't even realize. I found that so fascinating. And I was just like, wait, so if you just like kind of flip them around, so if you just like try to say, wait, what was the actual words actually? Let me just double check so I don't get that wrong. Was it thing or was it think? I don't remember. I think it was think. I think it was like this and think. I think those were like the words that I found like the examples with. Like CH and SH, I can get hearing the difference between not hearing. Like cherry and sherry? Oh boy. Norwegian really loves to fuck you over in that way because we have SKJ, we have KJ, we have SJ, we have TJ, and we have K, and they sound somewhat similar. But they're not. Though some are more similar, of course. I think like KJ and K are like the most similar, if not just completely the same. I'm not sure. Okay, hold on. Let me type like 3 words in chat, and then I'm gonna say them. Or at least I'm gonna try to say them in Norwegian, and I want you to tell me if you can hear like the difference between them. Hold on, let me just So in order, they are cut or magpie, tar, and like deer, you know, as in like a pet name kind of thing. So we have we have skjære, skjære, skjære. Can you tell the difference between them? I don't even think I got them right. But I've always been like really good with like pronunciation and stuff. like literally, I kid you not, when I was younger, a nickname I got from a friend was literally Little Miss Dictionary. So, you know, because I had like a tendency to just like correct people when they spoke. It's gotten way better throughout the years. I still do it, though not as much. And I try to just like leave it. Like more the tone of voice rather than the actual sound difference. They kind of all sound the same. Yeah, no, they all sound the same. And how am I gonna do this? Hold on. We also have what I think is like my favorite like example. We have skjorte and kjole. It's a bit like the Swedish ända and ända. Interesting. Which means the only a but. Interesting. But yes, the thing with skjorte and kjole is that usually people don't know how to say kjole properly. They say kjole, which is wrong. It's kjole. So skjorte is only there to like apply, like be like as an example for the way you say like an SKJ word. But I know so many people that say kjole as kjole. And it's annoying, but I'm trying my best. It's shirt and dress actually, but very close. Anyways, back to the game.
So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed then?
That's right, ma'am. That's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense for me is for me to end it all. Kjol in Swedish is a skirt. Ah. Interesting. What is dress then? Oh yeah, klänning.
Very idea, Mr. Windybank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually.
I believe the reason why he is talking about this is because he lost the violin. Did you lose the violin, Windybanks? Says the man who was telling us it was a good day to die only this morning.
And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs.
Oh, what sort of measures?
I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the red-handed recorder.
I was about to say, is it a security camera?
Is that not so, Mr. Windybank?
What was that deep sigh about? What on earth is a red-handed recorder?
Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling.
I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device.
Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop.
Here, I have an example I can show you.
Ah, yes. A print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness.
Oh, okay. Considering the amount of time we have spent here, And the fact that they explain the security system makes me feel like there is going to be a case based in here. Yeah, don't say. But also, every 30 minutes, that's very easy to avoid. Really? That's extraordinary.
Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed.
Look at that crystal clear dark picture. Yeah, you're right.
But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals?
Indeed, as you say, my dear madam.
Then what if the incident were to occur in between times?
One could only say. That would be a cruel twist of fate.
I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Winterbank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word.
It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not one, but 2 cameras in my shop after all. Which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I am afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older.
Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price.
Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Okay, thank God he still has it.
Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Winterbank.
Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you tried to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. Fear not. Oh god, he is gonna be accused of something, isn't he? Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed.
That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Winterbank.
Sholmes, you can't just leave! It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last.
Okay, cool. Sweet, let's start up here and go all the way over. Down and over and down and a bit more down. There seems to be a little door hidden behind the curtain there.
That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Winterbank keeps articles that are currently in pawn.
Ah, I see.
There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any loss in this activity. Recommend it or not, it's not something I tend to do. There is but one key, and Mr. Winterbank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow.
How on earth did you know about that, Mr. Sholmes?
I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder.
And the prime suspect if this pawnbrokery is ever burgled.
What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
Those are forfeited items, offered for sale by the pawnbroker.
I know, we just talked about this. What does that really mean, though?
When you pawn or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale, at a price of his choosing.
Oh yes, now you've explained it. I'm noticing little price tags on everything.
Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit. Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. Never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside, on which the notes to be... There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine! Indeed, though the popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. You might say, the future is now thanks to science. Oh. Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Mr. Windibank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. One might say that it's time for science to open up the future. Yes, either way works perfectly fine. It had to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Windibank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with the speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd... Blow his brains out? Indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my, but in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Okay. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th April. Today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windibank. I thought Drinoska was gonna point out the dog picture. Nah. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh, yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Now, what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out.
Is it broken?
My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm going to try it. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see at once. Alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose.
What the? I can't do that. I don't believe it. Is that the major? You know what? You may be right. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why are people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well... The new Oculus looks amazing! Far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Oh. Look at this! Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Huh. There's a small catch just here. Look. We're going to open it, aren't we? Oh my! That's amazing! It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which we'll never manage to put back the way it was before. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing! No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. What? Only tuppence for it? Hey, that ain't fair, and you know it! The article is barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more. Oh. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right! Have you even had a proper butcher's at it? See, now I need to see, young girl. I wonder who it could be. Could it be Gina? Wait, don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her. Oh yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilded's trial 2 months ago. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Hers are crossed among large crowds, relieving people for their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. Gordon Bennett, you lot! Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. What? You remember me then, do ya? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure. So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us. Nothing to eat. Come and pop that black weasel. Sorry coat, have you? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Naruhodo, please get some normal clothes.
Ah, good day, unless I'm much mistaken. You would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Mr. Sholmes! So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winterbank on your behalf.
Normal clothes, an ace attorney? Imagine still running around in your school uniform. Yeah, exactly.
Pull the other one, I don't need no help from some stuck-uppity.
I have no fucking clue what he's saying.
Get out of my business, go on, or I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence.
He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hands? Some kind of metal disc.
And you, go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be... We shan't be offended in the slightest.
Susato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Mrs. Strahd.
Yeah, well, I am, alright? I'm a Londoner just like everyone else. Not a problem, is it?
No, not at all. It's just that, well...
Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing
oh my god.
That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase.
Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines.
You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright then, I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people?
Well, I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose. Sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. But not this time, alright? I swear. That thing belongs to me.
The disc that Mr. Winterbank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this.
Mr. Winterbank, what exactly is this metal disc that Mr. Strahd has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface.
Ah, this is a music disc, you see, for use inside a music box. In a music box.
What? You don't even know what a music box is? You isn't not into savvy, eh?
I know what a music box is, I've just never seen one of these discs before. Small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible! Tell us, what tune is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music box, you see. British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. Ah, I see. And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. But you have a music box. You have one. Can you at least try and see if it fits? Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny.
That's a packet of lies. He told me he did. His dad was, well.
Who?
Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. That disc's worth good money, and know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you? She's been in before, of course. This little tatterdemalion, okay. I see. I brought some dubious article or other with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me.
So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today? Well, if only it were that simple. Sorry? What do you mean? What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, storage ticket. So, Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing.
Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But as she gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obliged to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Winterbank.
The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed. Oh.
What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So, what about the disc then? How does that come into all this?
Ah, the disc is something else. A new article to pawn, if the girl and I can agree a price. I'm confused. I thought you said that Mr. Strahd brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, a child brought me a storage ticket, and the money owned on it, as you say. Owed on it, not owned. For this heavy black coat, which you returned to her care, as I'd understood it. That's right, yes, and rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets. Oh, you mean...
What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at a lady? Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am.
And she immediately tried to pawn it.
For quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think.
Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me.
It doesn't really appear to be your size.
Me old man. He's me old man, so ain't it? Is it, Miss Lestrade?
Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please. Oh. Who? Who is this picture postcard English gentleman? Good day to you, ladies. Gentlemen.
What's your problem, mate?
Look at this JoJo man. There's no problem as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Eh? Who are you? How'd you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems. Oh, this man has major bitch energy. For real.
What? You mean from you?
Broker. Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes. The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Oh my! Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say... Any music box discs too. You're so right. You're so right. This is very much a JoJo, man.
No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old mam's. Or it was. Now it's mine.
This man is a walking JoJo reference.
Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation.
Yes, I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. He is the final JoJo. Okay, let's talk to JoJo. Excuse me, but who are you? One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly, you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you. Oh, sorry, yes. We're from the Emperor of Japan. We're studying here. Oh, yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place. Sir? Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown colored soup dressed up with exotic spices. You might be thinking of somewhere else. What was that theatrical gesticulation about? Perhaps, anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your name first before inquiring after the name of another. Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really.
My name is Susato Mikotoba. I am Mr. Naruhodo's assistant.
I see. My name is Benedict. Yes. Eggert Benedict. Eggs Benedict, really? Enchanté. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Eggert Benedict. Now to the matter at hand. My overcoat, return it at once. To someone with the style to carry it off.
Every move he makes, every breath he takes.
I can't stand watching them. I assume that's like a reference to that song, right? That everyone is like, thinks it's very romantic, but it's actually about a stalker, so you know. Forgot about that line. It's the creepy Sting song, yes, exactly. Wait, what song? God. Eric? I forgot the name of the artist was Sting, so yeah, Every Breath You Take by Sting, that's what it's called. Or The Police. Yeah, they made a cover of it, didn't they? The gentleman's accusation.
Miss Lestrade, is what the gentleman is saying. What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. Oh, Sting is from The Police, but I don't remember if he wrote that song with The Police. Ah, okay, never mind. I think I know stuff I don't. Obviously. Thank you for correcting me. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear it. I swear to God.
It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street, minding my own business, when this little gutterling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets.
Why are artists collaborating with the police? Fleur. Fleur, no, I'm kidding. Yet again. Why does the police have an interest in music making? I can't tell if you're being serious or if you're being sarcastic. It was desperate times. Oh yes, as you can see, I am a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time that I've been targeted by these backslum scoundrels. Oh, you're serious? Oh. The police is a band? Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Come along now, Miss Lestrade. It's a banner king. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on. Why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy coat, and you think I'm the dodgy one?
I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's the evidence that I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it.
Oh, I have evidence, naturally.
You what?
Evidence that the article Mr. Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman. Of course. We need only consult Mr. Windybank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who had deposited the article in the first place. Yes! Brilliant! I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible. Oh. Why? Never ask customers' names. That's a strict policy of mine. But why not? Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity. Yes, I see. But then, how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it? Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course. It's... Professor. Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt. I don't know why, but at first my brain decided that the police referred to the guy dressed as a cop from the Village People. Listen, you're not the only one. Watchword, interesting. Gina, it's not looking good for you. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Windybank. As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why certain customers would like to keep their activities secret. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it?
Great detectives have no dark secrets. None at all.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The digit deposit, a description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword. But then why... Which means that you did it this time too, and that Gina knew it. But is the watchword not written down? He could have seen the word when he was at the counter.
Ooh, damn, you got a point there. And if that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article. That's right, sir. Yes, just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. And I have supplied you with the information you require already. But for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat, deposited 2 months ago, on 15th February. With the watchword of Professor. Oh, perfectly correct information, sir. But ow! Really, this is beyond a joke now. There is no further room for doubt. It doesn't suit him. So, let that be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eckert Benedict, sir. With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back. That does not seem like his coat. Yeah, I know, right?
This is why... This is why I like grown-ups. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar.
And the contents of the coat pockets, if you please, Broca. So what was that sound when he did the fancy moves? I didn't even realize. But of course, sir. Here's the disc for you. Just this one. Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another. Did you now? Did you now, Eggs Benedict? Okay. Another disc. Oh, oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that what was deposited with me was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now. So, Gutterling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you?
That's so, right? I don't know nothing about it.
Very well. And I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Oh my, yes, there's blood on the disc.
It's because of all those sharp little bumps. The man must have scratched his finger on them.
I found it first, alright? I mean, it belonged to me, old man. So you're not having it. Oi, you, take it.
Me?
If I hang on to it, they'll have it off me again. So you keep hold of it.
Miss Lestrade, why is this disc so important to her? Okay, I guess I got it now. You're there, in the black livery. Livery? Hand that disc to me at once, please.
No, don't! He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars.
What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Can I just like... There we go. Just run away. Sorry. Solved. Yes, exactly. Let's talk to him first, I guess. Those piercing eyes. He's clearly in no mood to talk. You have to do something quickly before this mysterious gentleman leaves to fetch the police or something. He's angry. Can I... Look at Mr. Windybank watching diligently over his shop. There are still so many things I'm curious about. But somehow I don't really feel like this is the right time to be browsing. Okay, whatever.
Calming this fraud situation must be our first priority. And I'm fairly certain that we can find just the great thing we need among the articles here in the shop. Oh, Mr. Strahd is really looking daggers at the mysterious gentleman. We need to do something to calm things down before she loses control and attacks him again. Okay. Herlock, what do you have to say about all this? Mr. Sholmes? What are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see. So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows. Cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, the 7% solution of caramel. What the hell is this? Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely. It's been 10 minutes, calm down. Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know? Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered. God, you're so extra. You really were sad, weren't you? Poor Mr. Sholmes. I feel simply awful for you. It would seem that my interferences are correct. Surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again. My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, were my genius for deduction to be commoditized, how much would I pawn it for? It seems Mr. Sholmes had another of his flashes of inspiration, but who knows if it will help resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? Listen to the deduction. Come on, let's go. Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament. Where the blue places have you been, eh? Pardon? When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away. Not an hour later. Harsh. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Eggert Benedict. You have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions? How? He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. Beautiful, truly. Wow. It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction. Who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes. As I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Yes, let's go! I love this part. Mystery Man's aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. Can I just autoplay? You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is a staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need for such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot. I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of the stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle, mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod. Is the broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? Now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath something. Hold on. The ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. To tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery? Herlock. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have been planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel. What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewerage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins another that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised the master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by... Hello? By dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan. Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. Postcard of the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government has provided extra funds to complete the centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank, on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating. Is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. I'm gonna need to help Dad for a moment, babe. Okay, cool. No worries. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. To steal the... I wanted to say to steal the Declaration of Independence. But I forgot. But I forgot what it was called. Damn it. Whatever. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes? Well, Mr. Naruhodo. An impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree? Was it true what you said about the bank over the road? And what it has in its vault? Indeed, though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence. Okay. But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact. Huh. And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? There can be but one explanation for that. Clearly, it is because the man is a criminal. But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret. Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windybank will. He already has plenty of shovels here after all. Oh, my life, I assure you I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost care. One can never be sure that someone private's secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure. Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again and see if we can massage it into shape. Let's go, woo! Very well then, let us start once more from the beginning. I'm cold. Sherlock Sholmes' great magnificent... Oh my god. I'm getting tired, but I'm fine. I'm not nearly as tired as I was on Tuesday. Sherlock Sholmes' magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. time to follow this pickpocket here. Having had the redemption tickets. Stolen, but that is most certainly a lie. Staff recruitment flyer. Okay, so by Mr. Sholmes's reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor. Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he? No, I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? The stylish hat. Cat. Oh, look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. I'm kind of wondering how this works. Like, in practice, you know? Like what? Just like while they're like talking and he does the exact same movements for some reason because that's how it works, I guess. They just like walk around him and just go like, well look here. This. Like how would this work? I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness. There's even a sketch of her. Hat and all. Although, if you showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. And look, the details of this shop have been written down here too. Windybank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street. Redemption deadline, 15th April, which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? Oh no, percent. Suspicious writing on the back of a suspicious flyer in the hands of a suspicious gentleman. I didn't think there was anything suspicious about the flyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Miss Lestrade's name and height, and a description of the clothes she's wearing. Not to mention the sketch of her likeness, which I'm fairly sure she wouldn't take lightly. And today's date too, redemption deadline, 15th April. We can't let this go, can we? It's far too suspicious.
Take that!
Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket Miss Lestrade and to Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery here. You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is the thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today. By which I mean here, to Windybank's pawnbrokery, and today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down to arrive. You have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions.
Okay. It's not the feral. Whatever. What's a feral? How do you say that? Okay, feral. Okay, cool. What's a feral?
It's a metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, the bit that makes a nice clacking sound on the pavement.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane.
But it doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious.
In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Gee, I wonder, could it possibly be... the initials? Look here, Mr. Soto. There are some letters on the handle.
Ah, yes. Those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letter of their names.
So Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean?
That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously.
Oh. AG. Why does it feel as though that's not quite right?
Take that!
The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing.
A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree?
No, you're wrong. This cane isn't... You said before that you'd had that cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. Can we just talk about how Naruhodo just walks around with Kazuma's katana like all the time? It's just like, sir, for some reason I don't think that's very legal.
In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong?
Okay, namely, what is the truth behind this rod? It's not a shovel. Is that not a cricket club? Yep. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat. And now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him.
But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us isn't true.
So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him.
Take that!
The split seam. The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart.
My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so boldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Windybank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. To abscond with a redeemed item. Okay. Oh, okay. That's actually new. It's so hard to tell what's new and what's not. Now, Benedict. Now, Mr. Benedict. Let us continue, for we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of ponage. Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner, using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place? How could I possibly have known the irrelevant details? N'est-ce pas? Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. Okay, I think... Okay, let's consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. No, not the council notice. The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think. Yes, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. Which is a pity because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windybank would never allow you to redeem the article. Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windybank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? Look at this, Mr. Soto. Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windybank has scribbled to himself. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, Professor. Mr. Windybank must make note of the watchwords his customers give him right before their eyes. And in an alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see?
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on the notelet he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Windybank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker?
Are you quite serious?
For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had a very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence, okay?
The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which according to Mr. Windyback isn't even worth a penny. And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why?
I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo.
Could we? Really? I better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. We have evidence, we have one thing. Whoa. Whoa!
Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck onto the reverse side of the disc. Look, and a scribbled word or two. It looks like somebody's name. For McGilded.
McGilded? It couldn't be.
But it is, Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget, for as long as I live.
But why? Why is his name on this?
Take that!
This music box disc tells us all we need to know. You see, yeah. What's that on the back?
It reads, for McGilded. Ah, Mr. Magnus McGilded. The unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his lone mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate?
Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you've squeezed yourself into.
Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today
was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Acquire an item deposited by Mr. McGilded. Interesting. Well, well. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Hold on. I just want to check like their ages here. 34, 10, 48, 17. We don't know his age. He looks younger without the hat.
Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell me, Susato.
Well, according to what Mr. Windybank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the coat would have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited. Well, today is 15th April, so 2 months ago today would have been 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see.
What, but that suggests... Yes, 15th of February. It's precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which I hit it by accident. The terrible events were unfolding. Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, I must insist you hand over the music box disc. Now. What, he has a gun? Really? It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. What do I do? Absolutely not. There are some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things. And again, it may not. Mr. Windybank! This is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life. Mr. Windybank, no! Alright, that's enough. Who? Oh. Inspector Gregson. Inspector. That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be. You're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment. It would seem you have the upper hand. Right, you lot got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy. Argy-bargy? Petty? Mr. Windybank very nearly met with his end. Yeah, by his own gun, as far as I can tell. Oh dear. And the whole of Britain could meet with its end. If I don't get to the bottom of this case I'm supposed to be working on. What on earth is the case, Inspector? Spare no detail, Gregson. I might have said a little too much. No matter, it's nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. But of course, Inspector. He's getting away! What the hell was that? Get after him, lads! Whistle the beat! Whistle the beat, Officer 2. I was like, the what? I got it. Sir! There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. Hey. So we fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector, I was very worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning. Oh, yes. I'll be taking that wherever it is of McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh, yes, of course. No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine. I'm sorry, miss. Anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. As evidence? If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. Capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. And so, we handed Mr. McGilded's disc over to Inspector Gregson, and were summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street. To be continued, yes! I made it through! Woo!
Sweet. Let's go back here. Damn. I'm getting kind of tired now. But I am fine. And I made it through. And that's all that matters to me. So, yeah. What do you think of my new little like layout? I don't know if I'm actually like completely ready to like switch over to this like permanently, but I just wanted to like test this out for today and see like how things are compared to the other one, which I still have. And yeah, I don't have my face cam on today, so it's just a picture of my background for now because I don't know what else to put in the background. Probably find it out at some point. To just like substitute for when I don't use my face cam. Anyways, yes, that was the first part of the 5th episode of the Great Ace Attorney game. God fucking damn it. So many numbers to keep track of. The first of like 8, because yeah, there are like 4 investigation parts and then there are 4 trial parts. So yeah, I'm hoping to do at least like one like chapter per stream. I think that would be nice. It's a long chapter, yeah. I can tell just looking at it. But Eric, what do you think of my new like little layout thingy? I worked hard on it. I even made my own music player. Love it. I'm pretty happy with it. It now matches my offline screen too. So yeah, but with that, I'm gonna end this here. Next stream is on Saturday. No, it's not. It's on Sunday. I know when I stream. Where I'm hopefully gonna do another chapter of this. Just make sure I get at least some sleep before that. I've realized that I cannot pull an all-nighter and then decide I'm gonna stay awake all day and then stream. That doesn't work. I need to get at least some sleep in. Like I did today. Way better. So, yeah. I hope to see